Okay, so back to the objective, the learning objective of today. So what we do here at 88 Tuition is that we will cover one component each lesson. Okay, because there are so many components in your O-level English paper, right? You have a total of 4 papers. Okay, maybe I'll just quickly share with you since it's your first lesson. Have you seen the syllabus document before? No? Okay, do you know what you'll be tested on for O-level English? Yeah, now Sec 2, so I think you might be familiar with it. Okay, so the first paper, paper 1, is actually your editing, situational writing, and continuous writing. So sit writing and continuous writing actually carries the same marks, right? But usually we will not spend so much time on sit writing, we'll spend more time on continuous writing. And of course, under continuous writing, actually, there can be different genres. So in O-level paper, you'll be given 4 topics. And out of the 4 topics, you will then get to choose. Oh, someone is at the waiting room. Okay. All right. So out of the 4 topics, then you will have to choose one to write about. Hi, do I pronounce your name as Ella Viniel?
Yes.
Ella Viniel. Okay, which school are you from, Ella Viniel? Which school are you from?
I'm from SST.
SSP.
T.
SST. What does SST stands for?
School of Science and Tech.
Ah, nice. Okay. So you're more a science person.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So we were just talking about your components that you'll be tested for O-levels. Okay. And I'm basically just trying to rationalize why we only can cover one section or one component every lesson, because we only have 1.5 hours. We definitely don't have time to complete like the entire paper. So we always focus, it's on a rotational basis. We will cover one component every lesson. Okay. So just for today, actually, we are covering on narrative comprehension, right? So under comprehension, there are 3 types. The first one is your visual text. Visual text is 5 marks. Okay. And then you have your narrative text or a recount. That is your section B. Section A is actually a visual text. And then section C is actually a non-narrative text together with a summary writing task. Okay, so over here, basically this is it. And then we have listening as well. Listening, listening basically it's something that we will practice, but it's definitely not so soon. Usually we do it closer to your exam dates. Okay, and then lastly, we cover oral communication as well, both planned response and spoken interaction. Okay, so we'll be talking about like tips on how to have an engaging discussion with the examiner during oral exam. Yeah. Okay, so today's main focus is, like I said, narrative compre, which is section B of your paper 2. Right. Section B, paper 2, narrative compre usually covers a lot of language use questions. They will test you on how you use the language or how the author uses language to convey a particular meaning. Right. But today what we're covering is mainly on skimming and scanning. Okay, it's actually a reading skill to skim and scan. It is important because we want to basically get the gist of the text. We want to roughly know what the text is all about first. Okay, so general rule of thumb, when you're reading a comprehension text, you will first skim and scan through, then read the questions that comes with it, then go back to the passage and find the answers to the text. So the moment you skim and scan, you roughly know where the details are. Okay, so that's the process of doing it. So we will, okay, let me see. Okay, we'll look at how we skim and scan. So basically, skimming and scanning, if we're referring to a visual text, like for example, web page or advertisement, first thing that draws us in, I think, will be the visuals, right? So the visuals will be the ones that attract us. And then after that, maybe we'll look at whatever is the biggest font size. And usually the one in the biggest font size is the heading. Okay. Oh, Kit Ming is here. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Now, in a longer text, especially one with no headings or illustrations, read the first sentence. So longer text. When we are talking about longer text, basically we're referring to our narratives, basically, right? Those without any pictures, without any illustrations. So those are your narratives. Okay. So in terms of narratives, all words, usually we'll look at the first sentence or the first lines of all paragraphs. Why? Because the first lines of all paragraphs is usually the topic sentence. And the topic sentence basically summarizes what the paragraph is going to be about. Okay, so when we quickly skim through, we roughly know, oh, okay, so this paragraph is going to be talking about this. Okay, and then the details will come after. Lavon is here. Okay, Lavon wasn't here last week. Let's see. Hi, Lavon. Hi, Kit Ming. Yeah, we are covering comprehension now, right? I think Lavon wasn't here last week. Okay. Yeah. So let us continue, okay? Someone typed in the chat. Yeah, you were sick, huh? Oh dear. I was also sick on Sunday. That's why our lesson got brought forward here. Kit Ming is actually from my Sunday's class. Yeah. Okay. So let's continue. Skimming and scanning. So for Kit Ming's case, I think on Sunday we will cover last week's content. Okay. So for this lesson, we'll be covering this week's content because last Sunday I wasn't around. So tutorial 15 is brought forward to Sunday, and today we're covering tutorial 16 actually. Okay. Right, so we were just talking about skimming and scanning as one of the reading skills. So it is really important to know what you are reading about. So when asked to read anything, do not read everything first, right? So your focus should be always asking yourself, what is this all about? What is this story about? What is this visual text about? What is this advertisement about? Okay, so quickly answer this question. Oh dear, why is the clock not working? Okay, actually, I have an activity for you. Is it working? No? Okay, never mind. Okay, I will set the timer on. So you're supposed to quickly skim and scan through this text and find out what this passage is all about, okay? So I'm going to put the timer on. You only have 30 seconds. So when it sounds, yeah. Okay, 30 seconds over here. Yeah. So after 30 seconds, I'll ask you what this passage is about. Okay, time's up. All right, so we're going to move on to the question. So I think, okay, can anyone tell me what this passage is about first? Very quickly, I think you've noticed some words are repetitive, right? Especially someone is typing in the chat. Who's that? The Silk Road, very good. Lavon said trades, yes. Okay, it's about trades, it's about the Silk Road. So remember that you are looking for the main idea. So do not be tempted to read more and become more confused. First time reading, just look at the surface first. What is it about? Okay, Then you go and read the comprehension questions, then go back to the text again. Okay, so you should have understood that this text is about the Silk Road in the past. Okay, it's basically telling you that the Silk Road is a road that ran on land between China and the Mediterranean, right? How do you know that? It's here, isn't it? Right? Silk from China had already found its way to the Mediterranean region 2,400 years ago. So there was actually a road accessible to human for them to trade silk, right? So as it was a trade route, many items traveled along the road linking civilizations. Okay, how do you know? The road might easily have become known as Glass Road because I think glass was also traded then. Okay, many of the influences that spread along were more. Ideas also traversed the route. Okay, so that basically tells you that okay, it links civilizations, and that was also the most important link at the time in that area of the world. Okay, so if you look at this, how do you know? Because it says at its height, the Silk Road was the central thoroughfare. So it was the highlight. It was the most important link at that time, during the era, right? Now, the point of scheming is clear to you. In 30 seconds, you have discovered the main topic, right? And so when you come to read the text in detail, okay, like I said, after reading scheming and scanning, right, the next thing you should do is to go and look at the comprehension questions. Okay, so once you've taken a look at the questions, you will then come back to look for more details. Like, for example, where exactly did it run? What were the items that were traded? So those are additional information which might appear within the paragraphs itself, but maybe not the first sentence of the paragraph. And how civilizations were linked. Okay, so that's scheming. Okay, now let's try activity 2. Same thing, I'm going to put a timer on. Quickly skim through the passage and find out what this text is about. Okay, I think I can't really see. Okay, never mind. I will just look at the timer, and when it's time, I'll let you know. Okay, time's up. Right. So anyone can tell me what this activity or this passage is all about? Okay, who's the first person who answered? Kietming. Kietming says birds wing, birds and their wings. Very good. Who was that? Elavenil. Yeah. Okay, so I think you do see a lot of repetitive words like birds, birds, right? So the first paragraph, okay, this one is birds, birds. Okay, the wings are what the birds use to generate the wing structure of the birds. Okay, almost every line has the word bird, except for the second last one, which actually they do have examples of birds like eagles, hawks, and vultures. Okay, so definitely this text is about birds. What's the genre of this text? This genre is actually a report. Okay, it can be an informative report if you want to be more specific, because it's not a narrative, it's not telling you a story. So it's an informative report, right? Informative report basically gives you information about birds. Okay, someone mentioned wings, right? And the structure of their wings that gives them power for flight. Okay, so it discusses different types of wings, right? They talked about different types of